What's going on, guys? Mike Murtis, Gamer Logic here, and as you could tell, I am not shooting from my game room or my arcade or the studio. This is straight up outdoors. The weather has been beautiful here in the Midwest the past couple of days, and I just wanted to take advantage of it. And I thought, you know what, I'm gonna go out and actually film this video. So it is a little bit windy today, so I apologize if this video comes across with a lot of audio distortion because the wind is blowing, but it is what it is. And I just wanted to get out and record stuff because God knows we've all been stuck in our houses with this wonderful COVID-19 pandemic, right? And man, COVID-19 is very appropriate for this video subject because today we are talking about UPLINK from the Long Island Retro Gaming Convention, or the Long Island Retro Gaming Expo. Like many conventions this year, and pretty much everything across the board where there's any sort of large gatherings, it's been canceled due to COVID-19 to prevent the spread of the virus. So that personally affected me this year in terms of gaming conventions because without a doubt, I always go to the Midwest Gaming Classic and I always go to the Video Game Summit, and the virus effectively canceled that, and that's widespread for everyone in the retro gaming convention circles. They've been canceled all across the world, right? So what do the founders, the runners of these gaming conventions do to keep the conventions going and make sure they keep bringing money in and try to make sure that the fans of these conventions can have some sort of experience this year, right? So a lot of these gaming conventions are going virtual, and I thought it was a neat concept, but for me, I kind of automatically just wasn't super interested in checking it out just because I knew it wasn't going to be the same experience. So I never really paid much attention to them. I'd rather just be there and do the real thing. But you know, it kind of is what it is. Well, enter UPLINK. And the whole reason I actually ended up checking out UPLINK and attending UPLINK this weekend is because the publisher of Old School Gamer magazine had a couple of tickets to pass out and asked who would be interested in going. And I figured, you know what? Why not? There's not a lot of risk for me. I'm obviously not going to pay anything for this, but you know, I'll give it a chance and I'll check it out. I'll see if it's actually fun or if my assumptions were correct and this is going to be extremely boring and I'm not going to be interested in all. So, you know, I get my ticket and Saturday morning comes and I go ahead and I go to the UPLINK website and enter my stuff, and I get in and I'm looking around, and you know, it's kind of neat. You've got your live stage where there's events going on, you got your panels that you can go to virtually, and you also have your exhibit hall, your merchandise hall, right? So I've come to find out that it doesn't matter if the event is real, live, in person at an actual place or virtual. The first place you're always going to find me is going to be virtually, physically at the vendor hall, seeing what kind of wares and goods and stuff that you can pick up. And my first pass through it, I was kind of disappointed because I really wasn't seeing anything that was kind of standing out to me. There was this really cool hand-drawn Zelda guide that you could get. You could purchase from the show. You could get digital versions of it, or you could get mailed an actual hardbound physical copy of it, which I thought was kind of neat. But everything else I was kind of looking at really didn't stand out too much to me, just because, you know, there are a few vendors out there that were selling games and stuff like that. You had kind of like the arts and crafts portion where people were doing like custom design stuff, which I thought was neat. And you have your typical vendors there, like, you know, Boss Fight Books was there, and a few other different vendors that would sell books, which all in all was cool. But there was nothing really differentiating it for me just going to Amazon or going directly to the website and purchasing the stuff there. Now, the positive, of course, is you could interact with those vendors, which I thought was kind of neat. But my first pass, I really didn't pick up anything, and I was kind of disappointed. So I thought, okay, well, now what I'm going to do? So, all right, I'm going to go through the panels. And the panels, all very easy to get to, scheduled out in a easy fashion. You could pre-register for the stuff you wanted to go to. You could mark which ones were your favorites so you could easily get back to the ones you picked. And my first panel that I actually attended was one with Jeremy Parrish and Kurt Kaleda from Hardcore Gaming 101, Jeremy Parrish from Retronauts, talking about very early Japanese RPGs like Wizardry and stuff like that. Or not Wizardry, but just the myriad of different games that came out from the Famicom through Falcom and all the other early developers and manufacturers of super early Japanese RPGs. And it was neat. They were both broadcasting from their respective homes, going through screenshots, talking about the games. I sat and I listened, and I was reading the chat and everything, and I'm sitting in my game room, and I'm like, man, it's kind of hot up here. The temperature's a little uncomfortable. Like, I just don't know if I'm going to be able to sit through this panel and sit through the rest of these panels because it's just not comfortable in here, and I don't know if I'm really that interested in this stuff. So I watched through the panel and finished it up, and I was like, you know what, I need to make this different. I need to make this different for myself so I can experience this virtual event in a new light. A little bit of background, I'm working from home now. I work out of my game room / office, 5 to 7 days a week. And as much as I love that room, it gets old. So sometimes to go from work to pleasure in that room is now difficult to do, right? And I came to find out by watching UPLINK that, I was having a really hard time switching into pleasure mode, if you will, to enjoy the show. So what did I do? I got a laptop, I got a mouse, a keyboard, I got a little tiny 13-inch LCD monitor, and I went out on my deck. I have a beautiful screened-in portion on my deck that you can sit in and stay out of the sunlight and everything, and I set up everything there. And once I did that, I fired up the UPLINK site again, and I started going through the panels and looking at the merchandise halls and interacting with people in chats, and really just started having a blast. It was neat. Here I am, I'm outside, I'm enjoying the beautiful weather, I'm enjoying this convention virtually, and I'm starting to have a lot of fun here. So, all right, let's see what other panels are out there. So, I checked out a couple random panels by some people that I was not totally familiar with, but then I went ahead and I joined a couple other panels with people I was familiar with. My Life in Gaming actually had a panel, and I was excited to check that one out initially, but when I got in there, they really didn't have anything really planned for their panel. It was just kind of like a open chat, open discussion kind of thing, and to be honest, I kind of lost interest. It just didn't feel very different from one of their My Life in Gaming live streams that they do, where both of them are sitting in their respective game rooms and just kind of chatting it up. So I stayed for like 20-30 minutes and it just kind of lost interest. The whole point that I am going to these panels in real life, virtually, is I want to hear something insightful. I want to hear something that I'm not able to get to in a normal fashion, by just watching their live streams or whatever, some kind of meaningful topic, just anything. So to kind of go into some of these panels where there was no real topic, was kind of like, I don't want to sit and, just, shoot the breeze with you guys. I actually want some movement out of this. So I left that one. And went and exercised, jumped in my pool for a little bit, and I came back at 3:30 Central Time for Brett Wise's panel, which was honestly, I think, out of all the panels I've attended so far, was one of my favorites. And I'm not just saying that because he went through and he answered all my questions. He came in with a topic that I thought was very meaningful and very insightful because it covered his history, his look at how video games and the industry has evolved through his own personal eyes, because he's been a long-time gamer, a long-time writer, and it was very interesting to see things and hear things from his perspective. And while he was going through and talking about, his gaming experiences throughout his life and his opportunities to get to write, lots of great questions were coming in, and he was answering them, and he was answering them in great detail. So I had a lot of fun in that panel. I learned a lot, not just from a gaming perspective, but also from a writing perspective, and some of the challenges and stuff you run into it. So great panel from Brett. Super enjoyed that one. After that, I actually watched a panel with Kelsey and Frank Sofaldi from the Video Game Preservation Society, Video Game Preservation Foundation. I forget what the exact title is, but I thought that was great. And there's several other panels that I will be watching this afternoon, this Sunday. So overall, I know I've kind of blabbed for like 10 minutes here. To summarize, like I said, when I first heard about these conventions being virtual, I really could care less. I didn't think they were going to be interesting at all. I didn't think they were going to be fun. And now that I've had the opportunity to actually go to one and attend one virtually, I'm pretty impressed. Bottom line, it's never ever going to be exactly like it is attending it in person. And I don't think anyone's going to argue that point with anyone. But it can be a lot of fun. And if you're going to check one out, I highly suggest you watch it from somewhere that's completely different from your normal viewing area. May that be your living room or your game room. Just try to switch it up a little bit. Get a couple friends, local friends, maybe online friends, get together and actually do the same thing you would do in person. And that's go to the virtual gaming convention together as a group. Go to panels together, go to rooms together. Have fun like you would in real life, actually in person. And I think you'll have a lot of fun. And as down as I was on the merchandise section Saturday on UPLINK, I went back this morning and I picked up some stuff because I wanted to support these vendors. I want to support what they did. So overall, I had a great time, and I really have to thank Ryan Berger over at Old School Gamer Magazine for giving me the opportunity to go, because now in the future, I will definitely be checking out more conventions virtually, especially if I don't have a choice. Next year I've kind of made the conscious decision to go to as many gaming conventions as I can in person, but maybe that won't be an opportunity. And if I have to do it virtually, I will definitely say now, instead of just giving it an instant pass, that I will for sure at least go pick up a couple of tickets and go attend these conferences virtually. So at least try one, folks. Give it a chance. Go in with an open mind and just have fun. I talked to a lot of great people in chats. I had a lot of fun at the panels, and these are only going to get better. And you know what the other important thing is? Talk to the founders of these virtual events as to what made it fun, what didn't make it fun, what would you like to see? Because this is such a different world for everybody, right? And it's going to take the feedback of the attendees to really make a difference and really help make our classic gaming conventions last. So I hope you enjoyed my thoughts on what I thought about UPLINK and attending my first virtual gaming convention. And until next time, folks, take it easy.